Hi, I'm Emma. I'm a secondary school art teacher, and I'm going to try to introduce you to something different you can do each day. Perhaps that will take a little bit of time, but will be really good fun, really playful, something you can enjoy with a group. So I'm going to get straight into it. Don't be intimidated, this is not what I'm asking you to do, but have a look at this piece of paper. It's got some old photocopies on it. It's got post-it notes with actual notes written on them. So these are just some notes I was writing on some post-it notes, decided to use them as a background. It's got household paint on it, it's got all sorts on it. So really, don't be too precious about what you use. Mixed media definitely is exciting. And although I've used ink over the top of it, a black biro or a black pen of any kind, or in fact any colour pen would be fine. But this worked quite nicely because I was able to take some of the black from the edge of the photocopy and bring it up into the drawing. So that's just an example, but it really does have all sorts of notes written on it, things that I was just thinking of. This is a piece I did with my dad. So my degree was called Art for Community, and it's about working on pieces for public spaces, but also about working with other people, so working with different community groups. Now, you may have your own community, as in the people who are in the same house as you, and that's quite nice because you can work together. So one of you might decide you're going to have a go at this, and later in the day someone else might want to have a go, the next day someone else, and so on. It can keep going for quite a length of time. You don't need special materials. If you are doing isolation by yourself, it might just be something you revisit each day over a series of days. Just come back to and add a little bit extra to it. You might use a different material each day, so it might be that one day you use some pencil, the next day you're using a biro. You might have some kind of way to stain the paper, but that can be anything. You can use some coffee to stain the paper, and you can drag it across the page with a spoon. You don't need to have specialist materials. I know what I'm showing you is on nice art paper, but you really don't need to have that. Work on an envelope, work on whatever you've got handy, a bit of newspaper. If you do have a glue stick, that really helps because you can create a more solid surface by layering it up using some collage. And if you've got a more solid surface, it can take water better. So if you do use anything like inks or staining, they won't ripple the paper quite as much. And then just have fun, like look at different areas of this. So you've really got just interesting marks. We're not trying to be precious about it. We're not trying to be trying to draw something that's kind of photorealistic. I think that's really difficult at this point, particularly if you're coming back to art new. Perhaps you have a range of different abilities within your family, and doing something that's too technical would really put people off. So this isn't technical at all. It's really about play. It's about playing with materials, but having an eye for knowing when to stop. It's easy for me to say knowing when to stop, and I would look at pieces of artwork and think, God, why didn't I know when to stop? There is no right or wrong with it. So when I say knowing where to stop, just getting to a point where everyone's pleased with it. Getting to a stage where you're all happy or want to move on to the next one. For some of you, it might work really well to have a few pieces on the go at the same time, or to start 3 or 4 people working together where you post it to each other. So you each spend whatever length of time you agree on working on it, and then you put it in an envelope and you send it on to the next person. Ideally, it's going to spend a few days in the post for sort of ultimate kind of quarantining purposes and so on. And obviously if you're really unwell, I'd probably stick to just doing this on your own if you had the energy to do it. But anyway, enjoy. As I said, don't be too precious about it. Try to just enjoy the playfulness of it, and lots of love. Bye.